Welcome back, everyone, to the Flyin podcast. This is our 50th episode. Thank you so much to everyone for listening. Guys, what a huge episode this is going to be. 50th episode, hell is real, 2-1 win. I'm still buzzing from Saturday night. Anyone who watched our reel from the other night knows like that was instant, raw emotion reaction. So pumped. Glad we got Sam and Zach here tonight. Excited to talk about this game, a little bit of a recap. We'll talk a little bit about FCC2's win and then go on to a couple previews because we have a 2-match day week coming up. So a lot to unpack. But Sam, how we doing?
Buzzing, like you said, buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Getting a win against the Columbus Crew at the Columbus Crew Stadium. I believe it's lower.com or something stupid like that. But yeah, I think, coming off of this win, 4 wins in a row, like we're killing it right now. We're looking like the Supporter Shield champions that we, looked like last season. Looks like everybody's gelling together. Chemistry is good. I'm just hoping we stay healthy because we had a knock, on a couple of players the past couple of weeks, and so hopefully, as we get into the summer months, into Copa America, stuff like that, we stay healthy.
Yeah, I ecstatic. Granted, we only got 2 days to get with the excitement, but it's another full day, full week of soccer matches. So, what we're catching our stride. We're getting the young people minutes, getting a lot of rotation, which that's always good to see. So, and they're good minutes too. It seems like we're still able to get results. So, let's keep that positive motion going forward.
Yeah, 100%. 7-2-3 overall on the year. Second now, like we mentioned before in the Eastern Conference with a game in hand against Inter Miami. MLS definitely scheduled it that way. Let's be honest. By now, we can say that for certain. For them to have one more game to possibly higher in the standings is just funny. But guys, going into this game, as we anticipated, atmosphere was unbelievable. Pregame, just a lot of back and forth online between the fan bases. Guys, I really thought it was cool. The supporters groups had some nice tifos, taken from the stadium over to Mercy Health to send the guys out. And really, Pat commented after the game and said how much that meant to them and how much it showed that we cared, and this is a huge game. As nervous as a lot of us are or were about, this, in this big stretch, I mentioned 5-game stretch starting after 2 losses, 4 for 4, 4 wins and 4. Who would have thought? Look at us now. But just so pumped about how things were going. And 4 wins in a row. So going in, looking at the lineup, like Sam mentioned, with some possible injury concerns, we ended up having Roman Celentano, Oriano, Murphy, Miazga, Robinson. We get Alvis Powell for 14 minutes, which we'll get into. Buka, Wobodo, Lucho, Baird, and Kubo. So really the big question was to see if Lucho goes a full 90 or can start. And then, what we were going to do with Yedlin's possible position. Obviously going in, Yedlin had been injured, didn't really practice much during the week. So Sam, what were you seeing in the lineup?
Yeah, as far as the lineup goes, I think, relatively the same. I know we had touched on, what the bench was going to look like. Starters, like I just said, pretty much similar, just missing Yedlin out there. But yeah, on the bench, you had mentioned Santos not being on the bench a couple of times. He was on the bench for this game, just in case. But Kelsy got the nod over him as far as first subs go from the attacking standpoint. But yeah, everything else was pretty solid. Happy to see. I thought throughout the game, I thought with the lineup that we were working with, I thought Pat made a lot of the right decisions, especially with, like you had mentioned, Powell going out, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would say for me with the lineup, keeping that back line stout and constant is always good news. Likewise with Buka and Wobodo. So we've got that like core structure. Obviously Lucho too. So that core structure in the middle. So it's really the outside and up top that we've been lacking, and we've clearly been stating that for the past few weeks. So it was good to see Powell get the nod for that start. He's a veteran, but it's really a shame he was not able to last very long. I think you mentioned he wasn't very happy when he was coming out, so not a good look for that for the long term for him, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was a good starting lineup coming out for Hell is Real.
Yeah, and like we had mentioned, there's always going to be like excuses and saying we wish we would have had this guy, we wish we would have had this one. I would have loved to see a DeAndre Yedlin in this game, but we get what we get. Like I said, last one was we deal with what we have, and we're going to go into it, and no excuses. Let's just show up on the field, right? But unfortunately, 14th minute, comes by, and Alvis Powell comes off limping with a hamstring injury. It sounds like hopefully it's not a long-term injury. It sounds like even before that, they weren't sure if he was even able to go a 90 minutes, but no Yedlin, no Halsey, you have Powell, but who do we go to if something goes wrong and something goes wrong early? So we let Dado get this opportunity and we bring, our Japanese Swiss Army knife to right wing back in Yuya Kubo. So it ended up being a forced move for Pat, but as Sam had mentioned, he does the right move in this scenario early on in the game. And as we get later on, I think there's a big pivotal moment that he makes a crucial sub, and Columbus does a counter sub or one kind of back and forth, and you really see the class of the MLS Coach of the Year come out. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But Sam, early on in the game, or at least in the first half, anything else that you had seen?
No, no. I mean, I think early on, it was. I know a lot of people online were saying that it was boring or that it was slow, and it wasn't. What Hell is Real is supposed to be, which is completely false. It was great chances from both teams. It was a great battle. If you actually love the game of soccer and, watch it tactically, it was just two masterminds. Honestly, like Nancy's a great coach as well. And so him and Pat going at it was awesome to kind of, figure out, what they were thinking, especially there in the first half. But I think we got I think we were talking about last week how, we were a little worried about this being kind of a too bit of a soft, touchy, easy yellow card kind of game, and it kind of looked like it was going to be that way in the first half, unfortunately for us. Miazga and Kubo both got one early, so it looked like it was going to be that way, and then I don't think there were any cards in the second half.
Yeah, I was gonna say besides those two, yeah, just those two yellows. But really, I mean, Sam, you're a complete opposite of what I said. I actually thought it was a very stale first half, but I will comment that I do appreciate what you say because really, it's a game of chess in which whichever pawn falls first, I think that's where you're going to see the game going towards that way. So you saw, Powell come out and Kubo was that slot to perfectly fill in Powell's role. And had we not had that chess piece there, I think something would have gone really wrong with us, right? So to your point, I mean, it was a stalemate really for the whole first half. I mean, Cbus looked like a team who hadn't played for 10 days. Since he looked like a team that is just starting to get heavy legs and, rotation, right? So you could see like the different dynamics with each team and it really showed. But it was in a way it was a great first half, but there's a chance here and there. But yeah, overall I think it's entertaining because it's Hell is Real, right?
Yeah, and for sure, like it might not be like the most exciting of soccer, but there was some chances, by both teams throughout the half. One moment that I wanted to just point out, 16th minute, should have been a foul on Lucho by Aiden Morris. Had they been scouting, that he had a bum ankle and went after it, should have possibly been a foul on that one. But then Lucho was kind of a shell of himself in some ways because of that the ankle. And apparently it comes out after the game that he was sick the night before as well. I don't know if you guys caught that. But how does that play into what we're doing and the chess mass, that really it was. We didn't want to send too much forward or, show our hand too much and have it. And that's why it's going to be a little bit more back and forth. Another moment in the 23rd minute where You get Rossi to hit the post. I felt like Rossi didn't really do a ton besides that one, maybe a header later on that hits the post too. But yeah, we get close to the 45th minute and we're attacking down the side. Lucho plays a slip ball to Kubo, who maybe could have done a little bit better in that scenario, but it's one-on-one. I think Schulte just throws his leg out there. Of course, the commentator is going to find some way to worship the guy on the save, but it was just all game that way, and I was sick of hearing about Schulte.
I was gonna make a
Yeah,
comment.
I thought that. Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
I was just gonna make a comment that it's probably gonna come up later, just with Taylor Twellman. I'm just gonna say it now. Um, just the comment itself. I'll get to the whole thing later, but Kubo could have done better with this. Sam.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I think, that chance, first of all, the Miazga ball to start that all. Miazga found Lucho on the right hand side there, great ball. And Lucho does what he does, finds Kubo. Obviously, Zach, to your point, Kubo needs to probably do a little bit more there. I think it was a point that I made last week where that he had a similar chance and he put it into the side netting, right? So does that affect the way you look at Kubo? Because yes, he can play right back and that's fantastic, but that kind of lessens his capabilities, as an in and out striker, to be able to go ahead and finish that calm, cool, collectively. But I did think it gave us great momentum going into the half there. I don't think we've had momentum like that going into a half in a very long time. So it definitely felt good going into half, and it was interesting. Crew came out a little bit on the hot foot going into the second half, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point just based on like the timeline of things, because historically, like you said, like we either give up one late or something happens and you're kind of feeling like, man, we could have done better that half. But you end that way on the road and then you go into the second half and say, oh, we're actually in this game, And I don't know
Yeah.
if it was like a surprise for the players, and obviously they expect to win or to go in and play hard, but to show like you put up for 45 minutes a solid fight and you actually had arguably the better chances. Now, to end the half, I think it was 8 fouls for us against them and 5 for them, 2 yellow cards. Like it was kind of just getting a little bit one-sided. But guys, I mean, would you agree Guido throughout this game otherwise was like wasn't really a factor as much? I didn't really see like the ref like dictating the game as much as sometimes the other hell is reals have been. Would you agree with that?
I will say the 15-second rule didn't really seem to apply to us in the first half, though.
True. True. Yeah, Matan goes down and I think is rolling around, but doesn't have to come off for 2 minutes all of a sudden. Like, do we just stop with that? And they even said, like, oh, like on this scenario, he doesn't have to come out. It's like, did you just make this exemption for them out of nowhere? Like,
Yeah.
didn't know about that one. But as we go to the second half, yeah, we start off where I think Columbus hits the crossbar, like I mentioned. I think Roman was always going to get that one. 52nd minute, there's a very interesting play that happens where Lucho gets kind of caught up one-on-one. I think Matan makes a little bit of a mess of this situation and just is going to go down with any contact. I think we might get some of that from Sam later here too, but that was a VAR check, and I think from what we heard, but they don't really pause the game too long. I'm glad it wasn't decided in that scenario, especially in this rivalry game.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of scenarios like that. A lot of people going down a little too easy on their side, but yeah, going into the rest of the, I guess, chances. Orlano has a chance, which, my God, I mean, can we hats off to him continuing to be at the tip top, shape, form, whatever you want to call it. He is faster than everybody else on the field, and we saw that during the Columbus game. He sprinted past every defender that Columbus threw at him. And specifically on this chance in the 53rd minute, he cooked the right wing back, and then, puts in a decent shot on goal. It probably wasn't going to be anything to begin with, but it was a good shot on goal and kind of woke Schulte up, as us having our first chance out of that half.
Actually, that's one of the big call outs that I had at the in the second half was just that Miazga Hail Mary to Luca. And then the fact that Luca could just play that on his foot and then cut it right in front of that last defender. Just the ability to like, the touch and just moving on the defender like that. And then really it was a great shot from a tough angle. Schulte had a really good save on that, in my opinion. So applaud Luca in that play
Talk
for
about
sure.
understanding like the moment. Like I talked about it in the pregame or the preview of this crew game is like these guys, a lot of them had never played in this big match before and understand like Luca came out and just cooked. Like he was just ready to go and didn't care who the heck it was in front of him. Like he had one where he turns the guy with like a inside of the heel one through the guy's leg, goes around him. Like it honestly, it doesn't matter to him who's out there. He's going to run at the defender and it's dangerous. Like he looked dangerous than any other player on the field at times. And you could just see his just raw potential. If he can, put together a final ball, a final shot, like, maybe Barrial did last season. It's hard to compare the two because I feel like they play slightly differently. And I'm not even going to go down that path, but yeah, I just think in this game he does really, really well. We needed him a little bit defensively. I mean, I wanted to give him his flowers for one-on-one with Cucho on the outside at one where he actually gets the ball. But then there's one play later on where he dives in. So you're still seeing a little bit of that where he's learning. But there's more good than bad. And if it's going to be a bad moment, have it be one where you have defenders behind you and it's not going to lead to a goal. So you're seeing less of those big mistakes leading to those opportunities like earlier on in the season, but ultimately had a great game and understood the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you on that. And then on the defensive side, I mean, I thought this was kind of a hole that FC didn't really plug, throughout the whole game, and that was to me Morris in the middle for
Mm-hmm.
the crew. 60th minute, he's got a great chance shot outside the box, and I was saying the entire game like he has shown that he can hit it from outside. Like somebody needs to be covering him, whether that be Obi, Buka, somebody step up, Murphy, Miazga, Miles, somebody. And this was his main chance, and Columbus's main chance of the game, and he barely misses. I mean, it looked like Celentano may have gotten like a late jump on it just because, like, I think there was a
It
body
was
in
the
front
guy
of
in front
him.
of him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So just to the left of the post, and man, I mean, that was pretty much like the last attacking threat Columbus had for a long while.
Well, and tell me this. So this is what I meant by earlier in the coaching battle, right? You see this moment happen in the 60th minute. Morris looks pretty dang good, and in this moment, and he gets subbed out in the 70th minute, and that changed the game, because we have Kelsy come in the 67th, and the midfield just switched, on its head. And if you look back in that time frame, you see how they sub in. I think it was the fast winger for them. Why am I blanking on his name?
Yeah, ball.
Yaya Boa. Yeah, thank you. So if you listen to Taylor Twellman, which I hate listening to Taylor Twellman, and at least the second half we're listening to Apple TV, first half we're FS1 to kind of see the difference in broadcasting. But Taylor goes, look at this guy tying his shoe during the goal kick because the players didn't know where they were. So they bring Yaya Boa in, and the crew doesn't know how to set up. And in the next 5 minutes is where we score 2 goals. So talk about number one, mistake by Nance taking off Aiden Morris. They've had what Zach said, 10 days off, and this guy gets taken off in the 70th minute, arguably one of their better players. Like, dumb decision, but I'll take it. So Kelsy comes on and just turns the game on its head. And Sam, let's hear the 74th minute. I want to hear your rendition of what happens here.
My rendition. I mean, I'm no, Lucho, Lucho, Lucho. No, like
I want to hear the Tommy G and Jimmy McLaughlin. We see that video today. What a
oh my
reaction.
God, yeah. What a
Um,
video. Had to shout those guys out because I mean, what a reaction. I love seeing the behind the scenes of those two, especially Tommy, just reacting to the goals. But once again, we get some Lucho magic. And it all started with Kubo on the wing. He finds, I believe, Buka in the middle. Buka finds a cutting Acosta, and the wherewithal that Costa, he didn't cross it right away. He almost delayed and had like a laggy cross in order to like throw off the defender and leaves it in the air for Kelsy. And my God, Kelsy just manhandles. I think it was Matan on it. Wasn't it Matan on the back post?
Yeah. It was
Man,
almost a moment
yeah.
where I don't know if we're going to start saying this, guys, but we're just going to start saying F it. Kelsey's down there somewhere and just play it into the box for him to head it in,
He's a
like
big boy. He's a
he's a
big
big
boy.
boy. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
in that moment for him to understand, I'm just going to put it up and let this guy win it in the air. Like that's what I want to see. And he puts himself in a perfect moment on the back post to head it in. He brings his
For
arms
him,
up to go in with
yeah.
it. It was nice.
For him to give it to the crew fans after that too, just hands up, like, yeah, that's right. Like Kelsey's here. Uh-huh.
And you
Eh,
notice it's like number 19. It's Vasquez's old number too, doing a Vasquez similar header. Zach, what were your thoughts?
I was gonna just call out on the Lucho playmaking. I mean, it that was actually a lot tougher of a pass than it looked. Like,
Yeah.
Lucho doesn't have long legs. The fact that the ball was like a foot or two behind him and trying to like get behind the ball and like chip it over, a guy who's just obviously sliding right in front of him, on top of getting it all the way over to the other side of the goal to Kelsy. But the fact that Kelsy, we just got that, the Benteke, right? Like, he's going to get a lot of goals off headers. I have a feeling about it. And I think he's going to be the next big threat in MLS. So really, I want to give props to Kelsey on that one.
Yeah. And
We
I
gotta
think
we gotta get him we gotta get him a normal size jersey though. I think that's that's the next thing that we gotta get for Kelsey there, because he looks like he's wearing a 3XL. I mean, he's got a huge jersey on him.
it's a behemoth of a man at striker, but a left-footed striker too. So talk about not only big, not only can win balls, hold up the ball, which we've been missing all, the first part of the season, but when he's coming at you, you have to play him, you have to shield him differently. A left-footed striker that way. And I think he's pretty quick with it on the ball too. So we'll see how he develops into this role with a more sustained starting position. I think coming off the bench when he did, with a defense that was tired in Columbus, I mean, we could dominate. So if you go back and you look at Pat's comments after the game, he said, we thought about bringing Pinto in. I don't know if you guys saw this. We thought about bringing Pinto in to go a little bit more defensive. We didn't want to bring Kelsy in and get caught out and be too offensive because we knew the crew would be coming at us. He makes the Kelsy sub, and again, it just changes the way that we play, the way that we can progress the ball through the lines, to hold the ball up, to create and having Dado underneath to create, not only with Acosta too, that's one more creative player that can, make these opportunities. So 2 minutes later, guys, like unbelievable. Again, ball from Buka to Lucho, again, and just a quick one-time ball through, cuts it back, just leaves Morera in the dust, and how many times have we seen him just do that little hop cut in and just puts it on his right foot, curls it around Schulte. I didn't hear, Taylor say anything about Schulte after that one or the one before. The best goalkeeper, not sure. Yeah, but just unbelievable play again by the MVP. Assist and a goal in 2 minutes in a sick game for him. Like we'll get more to that later. I was just amazed by 2-0 out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, in 2 minutes, right? So I think, great find by Buka. I mean, it wasn't the cleanest one-touch pass, but he got it off and it was accurate. But once again, Acosta with the wherewithal to cut back. Oh my, just skates. And then Morera looking back like he wants to complain about something. He wants to like, complain to his other defender or to Schulte like he's got nothing, right? But
That comes with Buka playing with Lucho for several games now.
oh yeah,
You
yeah,
see
yeah.
where he's
Him
going to run.
understanding. Yeah,
Beginning of the year, he doesn't find him on that, but now he knows I'm going to make this run.
yeah. And then of course to cap off, the celebrations, you got Miazga and Robinson yelling at the crew fans and laughing at him hysterically. I think Miazga's, him being a menace has kind of rubbed off on Robinson, so that'll be fun to watch.
You're not wrong. Well, honestly, I mean, the goal, I mean, that's Lucho's signature move. So I think once we saw that Buka pass come off and find Lucho, I think we knew that was going in the back of the net. Obvious goal, great goal. But yeah, I love seeing the energy feed off everybody, and it's great to see that the team's gelling, starting to get their gel, and all the positive energy that you're seeing.
At the same time, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Like we go 2 up, and it's the worst score in soccer. Sometimes it's the most dangerous score in soccer. And last year in the playoffs, it happened. So this game, you always have it in the back of your head, and they're at home, right? So we kind of put in a little bit more of a defensive shift, a little bit more, Pinto in. We get a couple of outside guys, and you don't really have too many moments on the offensive after that, but you get a 89th minute goal by Columbus, which is a missed foul on Kubo. Let's be honest about that. I mean, we all saw it. He got shoved. And then Rossi, maybe he's close to an offside position. I don't think he impedes Salentano on it. On the back post, I think Murphy kind of turns his body too prematurely instead of just coming out, big and trying to just get a deflection on it. But it was unlucky. It was off with deflection. It falls right to the guy. It would happen to them in that moment there, but luckily it was late, because after that I think we had 6 minutes of extra time. They just create a lot of chances, none of them terribly dangerous, but how to kill out games, guys, and we've been able to win these moments, but just to look comfortable in doing it is always what worries us. But we pull out, a 2-1 victory, and I'm not going to be mad about that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that Columbus goal, I think it was just a tough play. After the foul that did happen on Kubo, the ball was just bouncing around. It really was. It was bouncing around all over the box. And it sucked. One person I want to point out was Murphy, because Murphy blocked the first shot. I believe it hits him in the stomach, takes the wind out of him, and then he has to go try and defend and block the other shot. And he like almost oversteps, I think, and unfortunately doesn't get anything on it. But you see him like after they score the goal, he's still like clenching his stomach, like trying to get his breath.
Straight from Sterling, whatever that is, that video. But
Scott Sterling, yes.
Scott's, um, what is it? Yeah, no, that I think that was the ref call. I think he was just letting him play. Honestly, it seemed like that the whole match. There wasn't many calls that probably should have been, but yeah, I mean that ball when it's like that, just shooting around the top of the 18 is always terrifying for us because it seems like our guys never really step up to people who are in the 18. We commented on that like various times, and lo and behold, people score off of it. So it was an unlucky channel. Also, I don't think there was quite a channel where there was no defenders, and Arston just had pretty wide open area so he could shoot. So would love to have Celentano get a finger on it, but I understand it's tough save. But yeah.
Good shout. I mean, you get nervous. I'm glad we were able to close it out again. First ever win in Columbus. Any way you can get it, you're gonna take it. We looked better than them, I think, all game personally. I felt that way. I never really felt terribly worried.
It didn't look like a team that beat Monterey twice.
Oh, absolutely. That's what the biggest thing that I was kind of seeing. And I thought we played Monterey well in the first home game. So I knew we had it in us. It's just putting it together, stringing it together. But if we look at kind of some of the stats from things, Kevin Kelsy, scoring his first goal for us is huge. Where does he build on this from here? Becomes the 8th player to score for the first time this season. I think 2021 or 2022, I think, was 9 different players to score for the first time. So we're just kind of right behind that. Pat with his 50th win, thanks, Pat, for doing your 50th win on our 50th episode. We appreciate that. But now the most points by an MLS coach since the start of the 2022 season. The next best was Steve Shrundolo and Wilfred Nance at 137. I think Pat had 142 is what it was in terms of points. So just shows his dominance, and being our coach. Everyone can talk about Nance this, Nance that. It's like, look at historically the last several seasons, what Pat's been doing. It's impressive.
Yeah, especially when Nante's saying that the Supporter Shield is better than the MLS Cup. Yeah, always interesting there. But yeah, I thought it was really cool, FC Cincinnati being able to close out these 1-goal games. 21-4 over the past 2 seasons is our record in 1-goal games, which is awesome and amazing. The fact that we're able to close those down. I mean, you look at those 4 previous seasons, my God, 1-goal games, it was like a disease. It was an illness. Like we just caught it every single time. And, we'd let up 2, 3, 4 goals in a matter of, 15, 20 minutes. But yeah, as far as impressions off of this game, happy to kick the Crew's butt and, show them who the best team in Ohio is.
Hell is real. But no, to your 137 to 142 stat, I mean, Wilfred Nancy's also been a head coach for multiple teams for multiple years too. And this is Pat Noonan's like first 3 years that he's ever been a coach, or sorry, first 2 years, but head coach, like top of the leaderboards, and he's making moves. I mean, I'd love to have him like forever, but sometimes that's not always the case. But he's gonna get good looks, that's for sure. Wouldn't be mad to see him for the men's national team at some point.
It's a good
But
shout. I wouldn't want to lose him for sure, but yeah, I
right,
mean,
that's a good retirement job,
right. Let's talk about that maybe in the off season, not like
right?
in the middle of him just killing it for us. But
No, it's just a comment. But yeah,
yeah,
I would say overall impressions, it's good to see Kelsy, you know, ignite our offense. You could see that immediate change in, pace. I think that's the play style we're meant to be playing. So it was good to see that we're back to our roots and, getting those wins. Like you said, Sam, those pulling those one game different wins is important, and even drawing, but still on the road against your rival, you got to win that, and we did. And happy for 3 points.
yeah, there's a lot of debate online. Is this the best win in our history? Potentially. And people rank in, 2022 playoffs, winning Supporters Shield. This is top 3 for me, guys. I mean, we're replacing 5 or 6 players from last year in the starting lineup. Haven't looked fantastic, but found ways to win, earlier on in the year. We just beat the team that won the cup last year, is in the final of the Champions Cup this year, beat them while they had a week off coming into it, beat them in a place they hadn't lost in 27 prior games, and did it with 2 19-year-olds on the field, a 23-year-old, a 25-year-old, who all of these guys have never played together, for multiple games. It's unbelievable coaching. I mean, it really comes down to putting the young guys in positions to succeed. And that's what they're doing consistently. And where do we go from here to be able to do that every game? And I just think they have a system set up where you have, Lucho, who plays so much like I'm sure Dado wants to. You have a little bit older strikers to guide Kelsy. You have, Murphy learning from Miazga and from Robinson. It's just perfect setup. You have Yedlin who can teach Oriano. I mean, it's just top to bottom, so well put together. I'm glad we're actually putting it on the field. Guys, I got to give you our trivia question of the week. So,
Go for it.
4-game win streak now with these last 4. When is the last time, if we go for it on Wednesday, when's the last time we've had 5 wins in a row? Can you think of the last time?
Last time 5 wins in a row. So I'm gonna guess it have to be 5 actual wins. It can't be like, a draw
Right.
in the middle there or something, right? I'm gonna go July 2023.
I'm gonna go. It was definitely. I feel like it was definitely last year. Trying to think, was it? I'm gonna say the tail end of the season, probably. We'll go August.
All right, we'll stay tuned to the end of the episode and we'll give you the answer. We'll be right back. Hey, FC Cincinnati fans, we are pumped to share our new sponsor, Peak Cocktails.
I'm sipping on the passion fruit margarita, which is so spicy and it makes me feel like I'm on the beach.
Ooh, that sounds great. I'm drinking the Blood Orange Spritz, which has a great subtle ginger flavor coming from its scientifically formulated recipe to promote exercise recovery, enhance relaxation, and support a better night's sleep.
Ryan, that's exactly why I love them. Their cocktails are designed to fit seamlessly into your health conscious lifestyle, giving you the enjoyment of a delicious adult drink without the downsides of alcohol.
Guys, next time you are looking for that post-workout drink or an afternoon pick-me-up, grab a Peak Cocktail. Visit them at www.peakcocktails.com and use the code FLYINLION at checkout to get 20% off your first order. Zach, enjoy your drink. Welcome back, everyone, to a place we're coming to you live, all three of us, where orange and blue is all over because we just dominated this week. FCC main team gets a win against Columbus. FCC 2 wins against Columbus. We're going to get on a little bit into that here in a little bit, but guys, I want to hear your jersey swaps. I'm really excited to hear. We had some really good players this week. Sam, jersey swap of the week.
Yeah, jersey swap of the week is a guy who I think doesn't get the flowers that he deserves. But Pavel Buka, it's about time he gets his flowers. Buka's been playing really under the radar this season. He's been, I think, better than Obi in the midfield. I know Obi's been a little off this year, but I think Buka's really picked that quality up. He's top 10 in the MLS in recoveries in the midfield, which is awesome. In this game alone, he had 1 assist, led the team with 5 tackles, tied for first on the team with 2 blocks as well. So not only is he getting the quality of passing in, he's also getting, that defensive play in when we really needed it.
Shout out to him. He's going to be a new dad coming up here as well. I think they just announced that here recently, but the unsung hero just has been coming out and doing things that we've needed him to do and silently doing it. So good shout. I love that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, from the great words of Roman Celentano, he's also very handsome. I don't know if you guys saw
When did he say that?
when Pavel just posted that Instagram picture. Rome was like, so handsome, so handsome.
That's amazing.
But
I,
no,
I think Salentano really wants him to grow a mustache. I think he's like, you gotta grow a mustache like me, and then you'll reach my handsomeness.
Oh, that's
that'd be
amazing.
legendary. But yes, I would agree. Buka, he's one of those unsung heroes. I love that position. You know, he's a Swiss Army knife. Like he's got to be everywhere all the time. But I think he's also got most. I think you may have mentioned it, but most kilometers, ran per. I think average per season, right, or something
Yeah,
like that.
on the team, yeah, first in the team, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, applaud.
Solid player, is only going to get better. I can't wait to see where we go with him next, honestly, because his ceiling's so high. He's young. He's 25. So a lot of growth to happen. But can't have a better person next to him in terms of recoveries to let Buka go up and do things too, and having Wobodo there. But Zach, what was your jersey swap of the week?
I'm gonna go with our great youngin Dado Valenzuela. He deserves it. I feel like this week he has had so far his most MLS minutes that he's had in MLS league play. So we heavily relied on him this game. I would say, hell is real. What better place to get your most minutes and pretty quality minutes too. But he did play 90 minutes against Cavalier. He had a goal and assist in that game. But seeing him playing this game, he's matured so much, and he he's so level-headed. I feel like he doesn't let anything get to him. Makes a mistake, but he turns it and forgets about it. Right? He's played the goldfish card. Right? I think he's provided a different variety of play with Lucho than what we've seen because when Dado comes in, he kind of drops back a little bit more with Lucho and they kind of feed off each other. So it was good to really see, almost a full game of that. So I thought it was very productive from him. But then also just, the bright moments of him just turning off the ball, like every single time we were wowed by it. We're like, where did that come from, Dado? Like it just like he's got such a bright future, and it was really great to see him, you know, blossom in in this match.
It kind of forced what we've been saying all along is like it brings something different, like you mentioned, and like him popping into the pockets of space next to Lucho is something that like I think the crew aren't prepared for. They were more prepared for a two, forward system where the forwards kind of hang out just out back, but Dado drops back and gets back on defense. How many times do we say, is that Dado back, tracking back on the guys? But he didn't care, and that was to me the big thing is like all the commentators, how is this young 19-year-old guy going to handle this moment? And it's like, I don't care. It's just another game to him. He's just playing out there and is so creative and seems to gel well with a lot of the other players. So yeah, awesome game by him. I felt like he didn't make a big mistake, especially playing around some more experienced players. And in this game, he did a lot of the right things. So.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, he's gained a lot more confidence. He was calling for the ball, and even when he didn't get the ball, like he was like, "Hey, like I should have gotten the ball there, right?" But to your point, Zach, he just turns around, gets the ball when he can, and then makes plays happen. Yeah, I think he's. I think Pat seeing how obviously, unfortunately, he had to come in in a weird circumstance for Powell, but I think that shows Pat how much you can use and toy with the formations throughout the game, knowing that, hey, the crew were not expecting this and it took them by surprise. And we gained it. It may have taken a while, may have taken to the second half, but, we gained a lot from that.
And having one big guy that can occupy both strikers is huge, and occupying space. Kelsy occupies space for the second goal because the strikers are more concerned about where he is. So can Dado create more? Sam, we always talk about Man City and the fluidity up top. Like Lucho can maybe hang up top more and Dado can track back or opposite. Like I just feel like a dueling 10 system with him is honestly what we'll look at going forward. And I don't think they expected to have a breakthrough season, in what they've had with Dado, but just has been unbelievable. And so credit to him.
Since preseason. Yeah.
Yeah, he's come through. So guys, my jersey swaps Lucho, shocker, but big players make big moments, and Lucho's the biggest of players. So fifth goal in hell is real. Um, just unbelievable game for him, even though it wasn't his brightest game, possibly. He's sick. He's got a bum ankle. He's still gonna dominate your team. It don't matter. So Sam, I think you made this comment earlier on here, and his goal contributions in 6 straight matches, one game shy of matching his own club record of 7 straight. In this game, he gets the game winner for now 9 game winners in FCC history, which is tied with Vasquez and with Barrial. So I'm sure we're going to get another one, but he has 5 already this year, game winning goals. He just shows up, and it doesn't matter if it's in 3 minutes or in 90 minutes. I mean, he's going to make it happen. And just look at the games this year from top to bottom, and the ones where we've won and done well, like he's been involved in it somehow, some way. What a player.
Yeah, I think, what you had said about him in the first half, taking a knock there. I think we were really worried because Powell just went out. You got a Costa that looks like he's hobbling around. He doesn't really he looks disinterested in the game because he's got to do things in bursts to save his, energy, save his, physicality. Um, but yeah, when we need him most, he comes up clutch, and, him being able to facilitate, and to your point, I think that's why having Dado next to him really helped this game because he didn't have to run around and track back and do all those things. We did see him track back a couple times in this game, but he didn't have to. Saved his energy a little bit more, and obviously finesse Morera. So I think he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, considering his health, I mean, it was good that, like having Dado side by side with him. But yeah, I would say he's noticeably conserving his energy. And it seemed like, by the 66th minute, 70th minute, once Kelsy came in, he got that second win. He was like, we gotta score, we gotta make something happen. And, you know, that goal and just the play, right, with Kelsy, he's unstoppable. Nobody can touch him. It's amazing. Never seen a number 10 like him in MLS in a long time. So it's good to have him on our team.
There's all this talk of all over, MLS.com, this and that, Chicho Arango, Messi, Suarez. It's like Lucho's got the tied for the most amount of team of the weeks now with Messi. Maybe, 6 goals, 6
MVP,
assists. Am I hearing MVP again? Reigning MVP? Come on.
MVP,
Look at
like,
what this
come on.
guy's doing week in, week out, and his value for his team. It's unmatched in big moments like this. It is unmatched. So pretty special. We're gonna go on the flip side of it now. We're gonna get some cards because I'm also hearing some funny moments from this game. A lot of interesting things happened, to say the least, too. So Sam, what was your card of the week?
Yeah, so card of the week, I mean, you could just go straight with just Matan being my card of the week, but I want to point out a specific moment, and that would be the video that we saw, or I guess the play that happened, but Matan being scared of Miazga, and Miazga continues to be the menace that he is, right? So I think it was around the 50th minute, Obi wins a free kick against Matan, and Miazga gets behind the ball like he's going to take the free kick, and he kind of spooks Matan a little bit by like running at him, and Matan freaks out a little bit, and Miazga goes and runs away from the ball, turns around, trolls him again for being scared, and like flinching and stuff, and so I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, Matan being on the grass for most of the game was interesting. And then, Miazga continues his antics, during the goals and everything, like I had said, shouting at the crew supporters loudly and hysterically. So, love seeing Miazga continue to be a menace.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it PG-13, but I love all the craphousery that he does. Like, I mean, now Miles is starting to get in on it. So, is he gonna have to go to his anger management also, or what? But it's so good to see them having fun in a way that is still helpful for the team, right? Like them getting into those situations, plays a big role on the other team's mentality and stuff. So it's good that we have him on our side as well.
And not letting it go to their head in moments like that too, where they can like still like do stuff like that, but actually be like, you know what, and I'm locked in, and I have Cucho in my shadow. You know what I mean? Like there was all these jokes online about where's Cucho, where's Cucho. Like Miazga and Robinson just destroyed that man this game. It was just brilliant defending by them. So I love that
I
shot.
was just I was looking at like what was Miazga's and his antics. The crew players have to be looking at this guy going like he is absolutely crazy. Like he is so
Oh,
crazy.
people
Just the
hate
way he's
playing
like
him.
talking to us and chatting to us and
Well,
like
and
what is this guy doing?
he can spit game, but he can back it up. And I think that's what like honestly makes people really mad is like they want to say like look what you just did, but he's like I just dominated you. So what are you talking about? Like so, but Zach, what was your card of the week?
Yeah, mine was kind of just overall commentating, like you said, alluded to earlier. We watched the first half on Fox Soccer and then switched it over to Apple just to see what the differences were. Man, was the quality so much better on Apple than Fox Soccer. Uh, Night and day. I think, we had to be up close and a little personal with the FS1. It was so blurry, but Apple, we were nice and comfy at the couch. But really, I wanted to get to the point where, it's just so frustrating hearing Twelman. I'm not going to lie. Everything he says, like I said earlier, he's like, this guy could have done better with this, or this guy could have done better with that. I mean, there was that one play, where Luca took that free kick in the 67th minute, and he kicked it to Miles Robinson, and the dude gets like sandwiched between them. And Taylor Twellman was like, he could have done better with this. Like how I don't get it. Like, what in the world? Where does that come from? He's like, he should have headed the ball, and it's like the ball came like at his waist and smashed between two people. I'm like, this guy needs to go. What is going on here?
Well, it was either between that or, Schulte almost plays the ball away with our forward coming at him. He's like, Schulte's getting recruited by these European teams. And it's like, are you watching the same game as us, man? Like, what are you talking about?
It just like the running
Yeah,
joke.
it was a running joke. It just like in that whole second half. I mean, I'm sure if we would have listened to it in the first half, it would have been same stuff. But my gosh, I mean, every other sentence it was, oh well, Columbus is doing great because of this or that, and FC got lucky, or it was almost like that type of vibe, and it was like, really, dude, like just say one nice thing. Just say one nice thing. Like, but yeah, the fact that he looks at Miles Robinson during that moment is like, hey, you need to do better. You got your legs taken out from under you. You had no chance at the ball. You need to get your head on that.
Unreal.
Yeah. My card of the week is going to be another unreal thing that I never thought I would see in the MLS stadium. Soccer 101 from the Columbus Crew. Maybe there's a moment for this, in another game for young guys or girls that want to go to the game and learn the game. I have a little one on the way that I'm sure is going to be learning the game, but in Hell is Real, in a rivalry game, the people that are there know soccer or should know soccer. Like, who the heck is showing up to Columbus that doesn't know what a corner kick is? Columbus shows on their scoreboard what is a corner kick, what a goal kick is. And maybe it's a running joke that the ref can't get things right, but why show that on your board? We're just going to troll you. We're just going to take it and be like, look what they showed.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, the trolling part, we tweeted something out after the game, and it was, okay, for all the Columbus Crew fans, this is a win. A win is when you beat somebody by more points than what you scored. So like it's really funny to play with that, but yeah, not the right time, not the right place.
Loved it. Loved the banter. Never seen that before, but I thought that was like you said, wrong place, wrong time. Just
I
leave it at
mean,
that.
self-proclaimed soccer capital of the United States has to explain to their fans what a corner kick is.
They're
Take
a
that
big club,
one.
Ryan. They're a
Yeah,
big club.
massive, one might say. But anyway, we move on because in the next game we had maybe more appropriate crowd for getting what is a corner and what is a goal kick. FCC2, the younger kids were playing. So heck is plausible. I just love that that's the name instead of hell is real. Heck is plausible. Uh, Unreal that they get to play in the stadiums for the FCC2 games. They did it last year too in TQL. But these guys win 1-0, guys. 4 games in a row now that they've won. They are fourth in the standings. Our guy, Steven Trilla, gets another goal, 13th minute. What a player. 17 years old, probably like 42, 43 goals now in all competitions. Just can't stop scoring. Call this guy up, sign him, do whatever you got to do to keep him. Just really cool to see him scoring in a big moment like this, too.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the vibes from the first team are trickling down to the second team, and it's great to see, honestly, because they play in a similar style, a similar way, and to your point, Sharilla just continues to ball out. I think everybody on that team continues to do a great job. I mean, you had Nick Haglund, who made his first career appearance for FCC2. He played 62 minutes, and you see him in the locker room after the game, like in the picture, like yeah, like him with all the little kiddos, him and Evan Laura, which was really funny.
So the reason why, for all those wondering, Hagelin's coming off of injury. They're trying to get his minutes back so that he can play first team minutes. It's kind of like a rehab assignment for baseball. So he's playing with FCC too. Don't worry, guys. He's not demoted down to their team. but he might. I mean, he's having
I don't
fun
know. He
down
enjoyed
there.
it. He enjoyed it.
Looked
He
like
looked
he
like,
was
yeah, he
having
looked
a
like he had fun. Yeah.
grand time.
Was he wearing the armband? I don't know if I saw that.
Him or LaRoe, either one of them might
Yeah.
have been. It would
Hmm.
have been funny if it was like Steven Jimenez at 16 years old with the armband.
Hey,
But
you gotta get back. What are you doing?
Yeah.
yeah,
Hagman's
right.
like, hey, whatever you say, Cap. Whatever you say.
Yeah. MLS winning Nick Hagland playing in the FCC2 game was not on my bingo card. But anyway, just really cool to see them continuing to do well compared to last year. We say it pretty much every episode, but they've just been doing awesome. They play New York Red Bulls 2 this coming Sunday. I forget if that one's away or at home. I think it might be at home, but it would be a cool game to go to. We had been hearing so much about like the crew, youngsters, and look at the crew second team winning this, winning that, and like beat Columbus, beat Philly. We've beat all of these other academies or younger FCC or the second teams, I should say. It's pretty special now that we're the ones that are dominating.
Yeah. Yeah. We're the captains now.
As we continue to captain on, the FCC first team plays in match day 13 for us, match day 14 for the MLS against Atlanta this coming Wednesday. So by the time you're listening, tomorrow night at home, looking to take the series sweep. We won down there and a comeback win, 2-1. Atlanta's been struggling. I don't want to get into that too much because I don't want to jinx ourselves. 3 losses, 3 ties in the last 6 games. Their coach is kind of on the hot seat. Atlanta's always a tough ask with Thiago Almada on their team.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to pile on as well. However, via the Twitter sphere, the X sphere, we saw a video come out of some chants that the Atlanta fans were doing to their own team. You go look at those on your own time on Twitter. We're not gonna show those or anything on this show, but yeah, they're not doing too hot. But yeah, I think for this game, um, do we have a fresh Yedlin back? Do we have like who's going to be fresh? Who are we sitting out? Because I know, Lucho, would he sit out for this game? Could he sit? I mean, he's got huge heart, huge, like he's just a tough player, wants to play regardless if he's, hurt or not. So I'll be really interested to see who we see midweek and what the rotation looks like from Pat.
You know, I think he's gonna always stay with his mindset of just take each game as it comes. I think he's gonna build the roster how he think he can win the best. I mean, obviously that should be all the time, but some coaches don't have that mentality and think too long term. Um, so I think maybe Lucho might play 45 minutes. I think he'll have some sort of playing time, but I don't think he'll have much. Um, Hopefully we'll see Kelsy get his first start for the season. Looking for that within the next couple games, just because you're going to start getting that schedule congestion or fixture congestion. So I think with Atlanta, I mean they're both home games, so that's very very good to know, or very good to have that and be able to plan for that a little bit more. But Atlanta is always a tough team to play. Kind of like the Red Bulls where they're always it's always close it seems like, but um, yeah, the wingback position is going to be the big question mark.
Yeah,
in my-
Yedlin's health, I think, and you get through Hell is Real without Yedlin and possibly have him back healthy for this week for midweek
When we
game.
have no pal as well.
Yeah, and no Powell, but we get Halsey back at least. So
Yeah.
you have at least hopefully a little bit more pieces. Guys, we'll see how they came out of Hell is Real. It didn't look like otherwise too shooken up. But one thing to note for everyone is Lucho's on 4 yellow cards, and so is Buka. So one more card for either one of them, and they are suspended for 1 game. So how many games, do we go without a yellow card for either one of those guys before we lose a game off of that? I think it has more to do, like we're both saying, and based on what I said earlier, Pat's got the most points of any coach since 2022, the beginning of 2022. So the guy's been able to figure out lineups and how to win in midweek games. So he's going to put his best foot forward, no matter who it is, no matter when it is, and really go for it. And so in this game, I'm predicting that I think probably you'll honestly see Dado get the start with I'm gonna still say Baird. I don't think Kelsey's quite ready for starting. I would love him to be ready, but Saturday I think is the game he starts. And then I think Lucha's gonna try to go, guys. I think he really will. And then we'll see what we're at half if he's able to stay in or not. But I think he's really gonna try to start.
So score prediction.
In the Atlanta game, I'm actually gonna go 3-0 because their defense is not good.
I was going to go 3-0 as well. All right, Zach, go ahead. Give us a new answer.
I was actually probably likely going to go with a tie. I was probably thinking like a 2-2 tie. It's going to be a lot of goals, but I just think with our attack, we're just going to have that be on the back foot a little bit.
What Zach? You don't believe in Salentano? You don't believe in
Oh no,
Milestone? You don't believe in?
I believe in him. I don't believe in our offense. Quite
We'll
there
see.
yet.
We'll see as we go to Saturday.
I think it'll be a competitive game regardless.
Absolutely. I mean, every time you play Atlanta, it seems to be that way. You have Yakamaki,
Tough.
Tiago
Tough.
Amada. Like, yeah, I think so. It's what they've been giving away is their defenses. Again, it's not good, but we have to, again, pay attention to their wingers. You know, that's the big thing that they're going to come with us at. But Saturday, we play St. Louis. I hate to even think back to last year's game in St. Louis. Let's get back on track against St. Louis. Right now, they're ninth in the West, sitting at 3-7-1. They've not really had a great start to the year. They've lost a little bit of some of their beginning of the year mojos. I think you're going to see a lot of St. Louis fans travel in because they have a huge connection with Cincinnati, and their fans seem to travel well wherever they go. Marco Royce, is there a rumor there in St. Louis land? You know, we see Roman Berkey talking about how he's trying to get Marco Royce to come in. I don't think it's going to be announced anytime this week, but something to look out for St. Louis. Guys, we just need to be able to play well against a pressing team. You know, this is what St. Louis is going to do to us. They're going to come at us. And I mean, similar to what the Crew did, we were able to break the Crew down well on high press. And that's what you're going to get from St. Louis, a team that is kind of well organized too. At least usually. I don't know about this year, but
Yeah, I think, obviously terrible loss last year, like you had mentioned. We can't think about that though. New squad for the most part. But for those who were a part of it, I think you need to avenge it then. Especially they're coming to your house this time. This is your chance to kind of put your stamp on the game. But yeah, I was looking at, St. Louis and how they are on the table. They've got 7 draws, most in the MLS, which is crazy. I mean, they seem to score most of their goals in the second half, so they kind of seem to be like us, where we're more of a second half team. But yeah, interesting where they're sitting at the table. Interesting that they call themselves the Kings of the Midwest. Um, we'll see what happens this weekend.
this is a blossoming rivalry.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
can
was
say that.
just thinking. I was like, you know what? What's a West Coast or a West Conference team that's actually like a rivalry or it's always close matches, but we don't play anybody consistently enough to where it's makes a difference.
Well, the reason I'm bringing it up is I think in 2025, San Diego joins the West in the Crew. St. Louis becomes an Eastern Conference team.
Oh, I didn't. Are they actually
Oh,
moving
so
up?
similar to Nashville.
Okay, so
What'd you
then
say,
maybe,
Sam?
yeah,
I said similar to the Nashville
Oh, similar to
scenario where they
Nashville.
kept
Yeah,
flip
yeah,
flopping.
you're right. So I think that's the plan coming up. So I think that's a blossoming.
that's
I want to
fair.
call it more of a rivalry than whatever the Nashville fans want to call that.
So with that being said, I mean, with them sitting ninth in the West with only one loss, I think we're due to lay a whooping on them. Honestly, I'm hoping we're gonna do a 5-1 win on us.
Just reverse the
Oh
score
yeah,
from last year.
oh yeah, we're just gonna flip it, reverse it.
Dang. I'm gonna go
Dang.
2-1 in that game. I think they're gonna go and play us pretty tough. I think they also have a midweek game, so that's good that at least they do too. It would be different if they had the full week off before it, but MLS has done a little bit better with that this year. Sam, what are your predictions?
I'm gonna go boring. I'm gonna go 0-0.
0-0.
That's really boring.
Yeah.
0-0. Stay
I hope
late.
I don't go to that game and no goals are scored.
Guys, I'm just ready for more FC Cincinnati soccer. We're gonna get it here very soon in bunches. Let's see if in the 5 run of games that we've been talking about, if we can capitalize and get 5 wins, maybe even 6 wins in a row. Trivia answer as we get to it. So the question again was 4-game win streak right now for FCC. If we went on Wednesday, that'd be 5. So when's the last time we won 5 in a row, guys? Sam, remind me again where you were at.
July 2023.
And Zach?
I said August of 23.
So starting May last year was when we started it. We actually had a 6-game win streak starting May 6th until June 3rd. So pretty much all of May, 1 game in June there, but you guys were close. Sam, you were close. I mean, you both had the right year. So prior to that, I think in 2022,
Back-to-back weeks. 1.5 points.
One and
Or
a half point. Yeah.
half point. Zach gets half point. I get half point.
There we go.
2022, we had 4 games in a row we won, so it was close, but all the other MLS seasons we won't even talk about. But let's go for 6 in a row. Let's just show
What other
how
streaks?
dominant
What
we
other
are.
streaks were we having there?
Yeah, not good ones. Not good ones. The dark days. But guys, Ohio
Yes.
is orange and blue is the recap of the episode. We dominated this week. Let's dominate next week, and we will see you next week. Thank you again. This is our 50th episode. Shout out to everyone who's listened, liked, subscribed. Go find us Spotify, YouTube. We're going to have our 1-year anniversary again coming up here soon. So we got a lot of cool content coming out, a lot of good ideas that we're going to be sharing with you guys. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week.